Adam worked quietly every night as a janitor in a tall office building near the old side of the city. He pushed his cleaning cart slowly from floor to floor and wiped desks that belonged to people who never knew his name. His clothes were always clean but old, and his shoes had thin soles from years of walking long halls. Adam never complained because his thoughts were always with his daughter Lily. Lily was 8 years old, and she was the center of his world. She had gentle eyes and a voice that stayed soft even when she was scared. After her mother passed away, Adam became both father and protector. He learned how to cook simple meals, how to braid hair, and how to listen when Lily talked about her school day. Money was always short, but love was never missing in their small home. Every evening before Adam left for work, he would sit beside Lily on the bed and remind her to lock the door and finish her homework. Lily would nod seriously and promise to wait for him no matter how late it got. That promise gave Adam strength during the long hours of work. People at the building barely noticed him, and that suited him well. He liked being invisible because it kept trouble away from his daughter. That night Adam finished later than usual because a water pipe burst on one of the lower floors. By the time he clocked out, the city felt empty and cold. The streetlights flickered and the wind pushed paper along the road. Adam walked quickly toward the small shop near his apartment, where Lily waited when he ran late. She sat on the steps hugging her backpack and watching the road. When she saw Adam, she stood up and smiled with relief. They walked home together through the narrow alley behind the warehouses. Adam had used that path for years because it was faster and usually quiet. Lily held his hand tightly and talked about a drawing she made at school. Adam listened carefully, even though his body felt tired. Halfway through the alley, the air changed and the sound of footsteps echoed around them. 3 men stepped into the light ahead, and another shadow blocked the path behind. Adam stopped immediately and moved Lily behind him. The men laughed softly, and one of them asked for their bag. Adam spoke calmly and offered his own bag instead. The men looked past him toward Lily, and their smiles changed. Lily pressed her face into Adam's back, and her hands shook. Her voice trembled as she spoke the words that cut through the night. "Daddy, please stop them." In that moment, Adam felt something deep inside him wake up. It was not anger but a sharp focus he had not felt in many years. He slowly placed his cleaning bag on the ground and took a step forward. The men thought he was weak and tired. They did not see the strength hidden behind his quiet life. The first man rushed toward him, but Adam moved faster. His actions were precise and controlled, like someone who remembered skills learned long ago. The fight was short and sudden. Lily covered her ears and closed her eyes, but she could still hear heavy breaths and falling footsteps. When the noise stopped, the alley was silent again. 3 men lay on the ground groaning and holding their sides. Adam stood still and listened for danger. Then he turned to Lily and knelt down. He asked if she was hurt, and she shook her head while tears rolled down her face. She wrapped her arms around him and cried into his shoulder. Adam held her and whispered that everything was over now. They left the alley quickly and reached their apartment safely. Adam locked the door and checked every window before letting Lily sleep. He stayed awake for a long time, sitting at the table and staring at his hands. He wondered how easily the past had returned when his daughter was in danger. He did not know that someone had watched the entire scene from a distance. Early the next morning, loud engines echoed through the street. Lily woke up first and ran to the window. Black vehicles lined the road, and people in dark suits stood outside their building. Adam felt a heavy feeling in his chest as a knock sounded at the door. He took a deep breath and opened it slowly. A man stepped forward and spoke Adam's name with respect. He said they needed to talk about what happened last night. Adam looked down at Lily and held her hand tightly. He did not know how his simple life had changed forever. The quiet janitor who wanted nothing more than to protect his child was no longer invisible. And the world was about to remember who he really was. The street outside Adam's apartment stayed frozen in silence, even though it was filled with black vehicles and serious faces. Neighbors stood behind curtains and doors watching quietly, as if the morning had turned into something unreal. Adam held Lily's hand tightly and felt her fingers tremble as the man at the door spoke again. The man introduced himself in a calm voice and said there was no danger now. He explained that what happened the previous night had been seen by people who were trained to notice unusual things. Adam listened without speaking, and his face showed no emotion. The man asked Adam to step outside for a moment and promised that Lily would stay safe inside. Adam knelt down and looked Lily in the eyes. He told her to stay inside and trust him just like she always did. Lily nodded even though fear still filled her face. Adam stepped out into the cold morning air and closed the door behind him. Outside the building, the man walked Adam toward one of the vehicles. Other people stood nearby watching him with interest and respect. The man asked Adam simple questions about his past and about how he moved during the fight. Adam answered carefully and chose his words with caution. He said he was only a janitor and a father who protected his child. The man smiled slightly and said that janitors do not move like that. He explained that Adam's actions showed training that could not be learned by chance. Adam looked away and stayed silent for a moment. Memories he tried to forget pressed against his thoughts. Years ago he lived a very different life far from quiet halls and cleaning carts. The man told Adam that long ago he served in a special unit that no longer existed on paper. Adam felt his chest tighten as he realized there was no point in denying it anymore. He nodded slowly and admitted that he once trained to protect people from dangerous threats. He said he left that life behind when Lily was born and promised himself she would never be part of that world. The man listened carefully and said that promise was clear in everything Adam did. He explained that the motorcade was not there to arrest him but to thank him. The three men from the alley were known for causing trouble and hurting others. Adam stopped something worse from happening that night. Adam asked why so many vehicles were needed for a simple thank you. The man replied that some people at high levels wanted to see him in person. They wanted to be sure that the man who stepped out of the shadows was real. Adam felt uncomfortable with the attention and asked to return inside to his daughter. The man agreed and walked him back to the apartment door. Lily rushed forward and hugged Adam tightly when he entered. She asked if the men were angry with him. Adam smiled softly and told her everything was fine. He said they only wanted to make sure they were safe. Later that day, Adam went to work like always. He pushed his cart through the building and cleaned floors that shined under bright lights. But something felt different. People watched him longer than before. A security guard nodded at him with respect. During his break, Adam sat alone and thought about his choices. He wondered if hiding his past had truly protected Lily, or if it only delayed the truth. That evening when he returned home, Lily asked many questions. She wanted to know why so many cars came to their street. Adam told her that sometimes doing the right thing brings attention even when you do not want it. That night, a letter was slipped under their door. Adam opened it slowly and read it in silence. It was an invitation to meet someone important the next morning. The letter promised safety and support if Adam agreed. Adam folded the paper and placed it on the table. He sat beside Lily as she slept and watched her chest rise and fall. He knew his quiet life was ending. The world he left behind had found him again not because he wanted it, but because his daughter needed him. As the city slept, Adam made a decision. He would face whatever came next with the same calm strength he used in the alley. Because no matter who came knocking or how powerful they were, his first duty would always be the same. He would protect Lily at any cost. The morning arrived quietly, but Adam felt the weight of the coming day long before the sun rose. He woke early and prepared breakfast while Lily sat at the table rubbing her eyes. She sensed that something important was happening and stayed unusually silent. Adam smiled at her and told her that everything would be okay. He packed her school bag carefully and walked her to the bus stop like he always did. Lily hugged him tightly before getting on the bus and asked him to come back early. After the bus disappeared, Adam returned to the apartment and changed his clothes. He wore simple pants and a clean shirt because he did not want to stand out. A black vehicle waited at the corner of the street, just like the letter promised. The same man from the morning before stepped out and greeted Adam politely. They drove through the city without speaking much. The vehicle stopped in front of a large quiet building surrounded by trees. It did not look powerful or important, but Adam felt the seriousness of the place. Inside the building the halls were clean and quiet like the office he worked in. Adam was led into a room where an older man waited behind a table. The man stood up and greeted Adam with respect. The older man spoke slowly and said that Adam had been difficult to find. He said people like Adam rarely stayed hidden forever. Adam listened calmly and said he wanted a peaceful life for his daughter. The man nodded and said that was clear in everything Adam did. They talked for a long time about Adam's past and the choices he made. Adam explained how he left that life because he wanted Lily to grow up without fear. He spoke about cleaning floors and fixing pipes and learning how to be a normal father. The older man listened without interrupting. Then the man explained why Adam was brought there. He said there were people who needed help and skills like Adam's were rare. He promised that Adam would never be forced to do anything. He also promised protection and stability for Lily. Adam felt torn between two worlds. One world was quiet and simple and full of routine. The other world was dangerous but filled with purpose. Adam asked for time to think. The man agreed and said the choice was Adam's alone. Adam left the building and returned home before Lily came back from school. He cleaned the apartment and cooked dinner while thinking deeply. That evening Lily talked about her day and laughed at a small joke. Adam watched her and realized that everything he did was for moments like this. Later that night, Adam stood by the window and looked out at the city lights. He knew danger would always exist whether he accepted the offer or not. Adam made his decision quietly. He would not run anymore. He would shape his past into something that protected the future. The next morning he returned to the building and gave his answer. The older man smiled and said they had hoped he would say yes. Adam set one condition, that Lily would always come first. The man agreed without hesitation. As Adam walked out he felt a strange calm. He was no longer hiding and no longer afraid. He was still a janitor and still a father. But he was also something more again. And somewhere deep inside he knew the hardest test was yet to come. The days that followed moved slowly but carried a quiet strength that Adam had not felt in years. He continued his janitor job because routine kept life normal for Lily. Every morning he walked her to school and listened to her stories with full attention. Every night he returned home on time and cooked simple meals. To the outside world, nothing seemed different. Behind that calm surface, Adam began careful preparation. He trained early in the mornings while the city slept. His movements were controlled and quiet, practiced in empty spaces where no one watched. He did not train to fight, but to stay sharp and aware. His goal was never harm but protection. The people from the quiet building kept their distance. They respected Adam's wish for privacy. Sometimes a message arrived with simple information. Adam read them calmly and responded only when needed. Lily noticed changes in her father, but did not feel afraid. She saw him smile more confidently. She felt safer walking beside him. At night she slept peacefully knowing her father was near. One evening as rain fell softly outside, Lily asked a simple question. She asked if Adam was a hero. Adam paused and thought carefully. He told her heroes were people who protected others without wanting praise. Lily smiled and said that sounded like him. Weeks passed and the city returned to its usual noise. The alley where everything began looked ordinary again. But Adam never walked it without awareness. He knew danger often hides behind normal moments. One night a call came that could not be ignored. A family nearby was in trouble and help was far away. Adam listened carefully and looked at Lily sleeping peacefully. He made sure she was safe and stepped quietly into the night. What Adam did that night was unseen by the public. No lights followed him and no motorcade arrived. When the situation ended, the danger was gone and people were safe. Adam returned home before sunrise and rested without pride. The older man later told him that not everyone could balance two lives. Adam answered that he did not live two lives. He lived one life with one purpose. Months later, Lily stood on a small stage at school and received an award for bravery. She spoke about her father and how he taught her to stay calm and kind. Adam watched from the crowd with quiet pride. The world never learned his full story. There were no headlines or celebrations. But in their small home, peace returned stronger than before. Adam remained a janitor and remained a father. He also remained ready whenever needed. Because real strength is not shown in noise or power. It is shown in quiet moments when someone chooses to protect instead of run. And so the story ended not with fame or reward. It ended with a father walking his daughter home safely. And that was always enough.